Martha, what'd we make? Pichu. Hi guys, it's Erin and this is That's So Random. So I'm making a Pichu costume with my friend Martha. I took a pattern that is linked down below that is a long sleeve onesie, but it didn't have legs. It's definitely not recommended. We had a struggle when it came to the snaps. So first thing we did was we cut out the pattern and everything. What we did was we followed the pattern for the video, which I will also link down below, for making this onesie. And the one thing that I would definitely change would be when we do the collar. We put the onesie together first without putting the collar on. Definitely if you would do this, which I do have the PDF of the pieces that I used also to go with this, but the only thing is they're a size 6 to 9 months. They're not any other size, it's just the one that we did. And I wish I had so what I'm doing now is putting on we're gonna cut out the neckband. And when we cut out the neckband, I wish we had added the collar then and then sewn it together, but we didn't. And yeah, let's just get into some music stuff. Almost probably about an hour later. It took us probably about an hour to figure out how to create the Pichu's little collar thing. I am freaking out.
Did you spoil it?
I am so fucking good. I broke myself so bad. Here we go.
I'm like, please don't be uneven. Please don't be uneven. Please don't be uneven. It looked good when we pinned it.
Yeah.
But you never know until things are like sewn in place.
Come on. It's because I'm doing a shorter length, so it takes a little longer. I have to pull this bit out. Yeah. I have nails, thank God. Why is this like the most worrying part?
I don't know. Because it's like the part that makes Pichu.
Right?
You know?
Otherwise it's just a yellow costume.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the real part of the tutorial that is not going to be covered in the how to make this onesie. So what I did was I took a zigzag stitch, because my machine's a little bit older. It goes 1 to 4 and then like 6 to 12. So I did a short length. I think for me it was not super short, close together, and then I did a zigzag stitch keeping along the edge of the fabric to hold it down, because this fabric was actually really great. It didn't fray. so I could just zigzag it and it would stay down and be, as you can see Martha showing it off, it wouldn't fray essentially, it would stay there. So there I am cutting the bit of the fabric to fold in because it was super soft on one side. We folded that inside and it actually made the neck area a lot softer. So we made sure that it was even and, you know, trying to make sure that, you know, it looked good. And then I just went towards the edge of the collar or the neckband area and sewed that down with still a zigzag stitch. And that's all we had done for that day.
2 weeks later.
Because I had time to create some new pattern pieces. So I created, when I was at home, I had created the back neck collar. And I had created his ears, the patterning stuff. Again, like I said before, all that is linked in the description, and it's a free PDF that I had created. But again, like I said, it's only for the 6 to 9 month pattern. So yeah, I'm still learning how to do the size changes, even though I could have probably done it. So here I am attaching the back collar because we were really excited to get the to get this done for the to get the body portion of it with the black on it. So we were centering it. The best way that we figured out how to center it was to actually fold the onesie and then fold the pattern piece in half, and I had marked how much I wanted it down. Martha's figuring out if she likes the tail size before I start actually stitching the collar on, which is funny. So just like I did with the front collar, I'm using a zigzag stitch to attach it. Also a helpful tip that I learned was when I got to a point, I made sure, I think, that the needle was on the left side. Turn the work so that it wouldn't go actually on the yellow, it'd stay on the black when it went back. And I turned it, and the opposite for when you're at the collar, the point. When you're at the, no, it's always gonna be on the, you always want it to be on the left side. The way I was doing it, you always want it to be on the left side of the points so it wouldn't hit the yellow. And here's Martha. Cutting out the tail piece, which no, we didn't stuff. I was gonna say we should have stuffed it, but I think it being flat is okay. Yeah. So she's doing the tail while I think I'm still finishing up the collar. Yeah. And then you can also see why I said if I had originally done this the other way, I think it would look better if we had not done the collar after we sewn it together. I think it would be nicer because then it would be, the black would match better. And then you'll see, I don't know if you can see it, I made a mistake. I did not have the fabric right sides together for the tail. So the tail was not fluffy. The tail was actually the wrong side of the fabric when we turned it out, but we were too lazy to actually make a new one. And then Martha's cutting out the ears, and I'm laughing at her because I forgot to mention to put it on the fold, so she cut it out where it was 2 separate pieces, so she had to recut that out. figure out the snaps that she had bought, and Martha is cutting out the tip part of the front of the ear. The snaps were a little finicky because the directions weren't that great. We made a joke that to make sure that we did it right was make sure the daisy was up. If the way that the grommets, or not the grommets, the way that the snaps were for the female side, it had like a little daisy that was like shallower than the other side, and that's how we were able to figure it out. And I'm just making sure that we had enough pieces, and so we did a beanie. I just googled 6-month-old beanie sewing pattern, and that's what I got. So same thing with the ears. So I pinned the black to the yellow and made sure that it lined up really well and everything. And again, zigzag stitched all along it to secure it, mostly on the inside than the inside of the ear, not the outside, but since the outside edges were gonna get sewn together with the black side, with the black back part of the ear, so I wasn't too worried about that too much, except for the tip of the ear towards the top. But yeah, like I said, I just did the zigzag stitch to hold it down, like before, close to the edge, to make sure that the fibers there would stay down. I am cutting out the foam, trying to figure it out. I cut a lot of foam from to try and get this to fit and not be too loose, but also not too tight. The first one was too tight, so I had to, as you can see, I had to cut off a lot of the foam. And yeah, the second one was a little bit smaller. But what I had done was I had pinned the ear, just the needles going straight down to hold it in place so I can cut around it and get the shape instead of drawing it on, because I'm lazy. And I think that was it for the day. Oh no, we spent another hour or so trying to figure out the how to do the whatever they're called, the snaps. So have fun watching us struggle with the snaps for an hour in fast motion. It was because I hadn't hemmed the leg opening, so that's what I'm doing right now. So, but like I was trying to say before, you'll see us mess up, especially me. I had put one of the snaps on backwards, and Martha went and pried it off and flipped it the right way. So you can watch out for that when it comes. We did a 2-hammer technique where we had a smaller hammer holding the snap in place, while the bigger hammer actually hit the small hammer, so we wouldn't actually, it would hold, so the snap wouldn't move, but it still moved and we still had problems. But you know, it was the first time I had ever done snaps, and
Many hours later.
so here I am attaching the ears. So the way that I attach the ears is with a back stitch, but you have to do it in a way. I found a online article. I'll see if I can get that link down below as well. It's where you take the hat and you lay it as flat as you can on a surface, and you pin the ear flat as possible, if that makes any sense. That'll keep it standing up without actually having to put any wire in it, especially for like a costume for like a baby or something. You really don't want any wire or anything that like can, you know, their skulls are soft. So I did a back stitch going across all the way in yellow, and then once I got to the one end, I actually went back the other way. I don't trust my hand stitching. I really don't. My hand stitching is really bad, so that's why I go over it twice to make sure that it's secure. Yeah. So as you can see, it's kind of standing a bit on its own, but it also has pins in it to hold it.
One week later.
And here we are, our last time actually working on this. What am I doing? I can't remember okay, so right now I'm actually sewing the tail to the body, because I hadn't done that yet. So I'm sewing the tail to the body. I had tucked in the raw edges, and then I'm just doing a quick square stitch on it. Yeah, to put it in there. Afterthought, I should not have put the snap so close to the edge of the tail. I should have put it more in the middle. The tail kind of flaps at one end, but you know, you live and learn. The snap, where I should have put the snap, is actually more in the center of that tail, because that edge that doesn't have a snap, when it stands up, even though the baby isn't standing, but if he did stand, the tail would flap weird. Yeah. folded it, and I put a pin in there to hold it so I can stick it in the machine without having to play with it. This first one I did not do very well. Yeah, I did a terrible job, and I kept snapping the elastic, and I didn't hold it right, so it started to turn on me, and I was just like really upset with it. Yeah, so don't do as I did. I wish I had, and then I didn't hold it at the very end, so it snapped, and it's just, and I did not want to rip it out and everything. I kept telling myself, it's homemade, it's homemade, it's okay. I even messed up on this part. I made one side too big when I had folded it over. So, you know, we were tired by the end of this. Oh, were we tired? So, and now I'm putting in the second elastic and on the other leg, and I do a lot better on this one. A lot better. I think. Or is this, oh, see, this is where it got caught under the plate and I had to remove. Yeah, that's always fun. Also, my machine I think was getting a little tired too, because I don't have footage of it, but we made a couple bibs. Not a couple. We made one bib that was reversible. One side was the Pichu color, the other side was an ultra ball because we were too lazy to get red fabric and make a regular Pokeball. You'll get to see that in the after shots of this, it laying on the floor. So, which I think are going to be coming up after I hem the elastic over, so you can't see it. So yeah, and I do not have the bib pattern in there. I only have for the actual Pichu. But comment or like or something to let me know if you really want to see a bib pattern that is Pokeball or Ultra Ball or something, that, and I make the patterns for it. Just let me know. So there is a little costume. It's super cute. See you guys in the next video.